Hello and blessings, my beautiful souls. My name is Avalon and welcome back to my channel. So, as you may have noticed, of late I have been doing a lot of unboxings of oracle decks in particular here on my channel. Thank you to those of you who have been watching the unboxings, who've been leaving beautiful comments. I appreciate you. So I have received a couple of little private requests to discuss, to recommend, to talk a little bit about which oracle decks I would most recommend to those of you who want to get a little bit more out of your oracle card practice. I find that oracle cards can be very deep and meaningful and really, really good for personal healing and transformation and divination and personal self-discovery and all of those beautiful fun things. And so there are certain decks that I would recommend above all others, not because they are more beautiful, not because they are necessarily more well-known or anything like that. It is because of the nature of the information that you will find within these decks. It is the guidebook, it is the personal messages, it's the information and the nuance within each of these sets of oracle decks that I have found to be profoundly healing and incredible to work with in a way that allows you to sit down and journal, to meditate, to path work, to do a little bit of personal transformation work, to do a little bit of shadow work, to do a bit of personal healing work. And so at a time where the world seems like it is in a bit of chaos, I've decided to put together a list of oracle decks that I would recommend to anyone that's looking to get a little bit more out of their card practice. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, we're going to start off strong here with the Woodland Warden's Oracle. I did a full flip through of this deck recently, so I'll link it in the cards, but I have had some time with it, and I've got to say, I have absolutely loved and adored the nature, the tone, and the feel of this deck. I'm currently in the season of autumn here in southern Tasmania, and I've got to say there is no better deck for this time of the year. The artwork is so soft and muted, it's earthy, it's got this underlying witchy quality to it without it even meaning to, and the guidebook is on point, it is short, it is succinct. You will get what you need out of this deck very, very quickly. You do not have to sit there, marinate, mull over and read page upon page of a guidebook. If that is not your cup of tea, then again this deck will be such a game changer for you. The animals that have been chosen perfectly pair with the botanicals because that's the nature of this deck. The deck is balanced between animal and botanical energies. And so I found the pairings rather unique and curious when I first unboxed the deck, but the more I have played around with the deck, more cards I've drawn, the more I've read through the guidebook, I have got to say that it's pretty damn genius the way that she has paired certain animals with certain botanicals. This is my least favourite card, by the way. I'm terrified of frogs. But other than that, just absolutely beautiful. Simple, elegant, and very, very earthy, very green witch without, you know, that overarching kind of witch energy to it. It is just naturally there, naturally present, naturally magical, and really, really beautiful. So this is number one. I have here the Vintage Wisdom Oracle by Victoria Mosley. This has been a long time favorite of mine. There is such a beautiful vintage quality to this deck. It is very simple in the way that it has a single word on each of the cards, but there is such a beautiful nuanced energy to each of the cards. Over the course of time that I've had to work with the Vintage Wisdom Oracle, I have found that it pairs really well alongside tarot as a really nice way to finish off a reading. But on its own, it has a very particular wisdom, a very particular magic. The guidebook is rather special, and while it's not incredibly rich, it has just this perfect amount of information. You've got really great amounts of info in which to sort of unpack, and it's very succinct, yes, in its way, but it gives a little magic. There's a little there's a little emotion, there's a little poetic edge to it. And I've got to say that I've had the Vintage Wisdom Oracle in my collection for a very, very, very long time. I've worked with it, I've had plenty of experience with it, I've used it for client readings, I've used it for personal readings, and I can honestly say this is an all-rounder style of Oracle deck, and it's great for a daily draw, which is why I'm recommending it, because you can pull a card from this every day. You can take a minute to read that short description from the guidebook and walk away and still marinate on that information, and it will continuously work with you. I find that when you work with this deck, you experience an incredible amount of synchronicities, because the artwork is layered and it's made from sort of vintage postcards that the artist picked up in her travels. There are a plethora of symbolism to sort of anchor into and play around with. So you've got some moth energy there, you've got like this wheel of fortune, you've got this beautiful dragonfly up here, over here you have crows, you have these beautiful purple flowers, and so you get to have a little play, you get to have a little oracular moment with the deck. So I'm recommending this one at number 2. It's been a hot minute since I've played around with the Sacred Rebels Oracle by Alana Fairchild, but I am as in love with it today as I was the day that I bought it so many years ago. There is something extra in this deck. I cannot exactly put my finger on it, but if you are wanting a deeply feminine personal exploration of your own psyche, your own emotional body, a little shadow work, a little emotional calibration, then oh my gosh, this deck, the synchronicities that you'll find. I have had so many beautiful experiences pulling cards from this deck and just feeling as though I have been seen and I have been heard. Like, I've pulled cards, and I remember this moment significantly. It was when I was still in Cairns. I pulled a card, I read the description in the guidebook, and I looked around because I just needed to lock eyes with someone and say, you will not fucking believe this. Because I'm telling you, it reaches deep into you. It's such an evocative, transformative deck for spiritual guidance and for doing that personal work, that really deep style of transformative work, that deep dive into the self. This is a beautiful and highly, highly recommended deck. I cannot recommend this deck enough. I will continue to recommend this deck for a very long time. The Sacred Rebels by Alana Fairchild is right up there with one of the best oracle decks I have ever worked with, and I can say that with full confidence. The guidebook is full Alana Fairchild work. You know that she loves to go deep into her descriptions, so you get a lot. And it's capped off with a healing process, which makes this deck perfectly geared towards healing, personal transformative healing, through this lens of Sacred Rebels, anchored into the Divine Feminine. Absolutely beautiful, highly recommended. So this one's at number 3. I have here the Magical Herb Oracle by Sherilyn Darcy. This one here is a beautiful witchy deck, I have to say. It mixes botanical information and healing knowledge on the plants themselves, as well as sacred symbolism in the background. It's done in this sort of like collage, not collage, but like this kind of botanical journaling style format, where each of the plants are pressed and then taped to the actual card itself. You've got the horseshoe there, you've got the plant there, and in the guidebook you have everything that you need plus a little spell. And so I have come to absolutely love this deck. I love the backing of the deck, but the way that Sherilyn Darcy has chosen her botanicals and the information that she's chosen to provide are quite on point. If you are a green witch, if you are wanting to work with the healing qualities of botanicals alongside your cardomancy practice, then by all means go for it. because there is a lot to be said about sipping a cup of tea and pulling a card. And with that in mind, oh, look, Soothe, cup of tea, slippery elm. And each botanical has been chosen thoughtfully. The guidebook is very, very good. You have a coloured representation, a tiny little thumbnail of a coloured representation. You have the keyword, you have the botanical Latin formal name, you have the oracle meaning, you have the botanical description. So if you are a green witch or a budding herbalist, a gardener, you will really appreciate this. You have the magical correspondences, and then you have a spell, and that is it. So it's not just a deck, it is a deck for those who really want to learn a little bit more about the healing powers of specific botanicals and how they correlate in an oracular sense. So education-wise, this is a beautiful deck. Sherilyn Darcy is an ethnobotanist, and she's very well known for her work with plants and within the realm of botany, and she's an artist as well. And I'm quite pleased with the fact that she has decided to start making oracle decks, and they are geared towards those of us with those witchy proclivities. So a beautiful deck, a great deck for learning about botanicals that can be then applied to your healing journey. This is a deck that will help you to really upskill in a way that the other decks that I'm going to show you today do not, because it does have that little extra, almost scientific, academic information attached to it, making it a rather different and unique oracle deck in its own way. So that is number, what are we at, 4? You guys must be tired of me recommending The Magic of You Oracle by Fiona Horn. I'm going to continue to do it though, it's not going to stop me, but I appreciate the fact that you may be exhausted by it already. The Magic of You is a oracle deck that has been created by a witch, a witchcraft author, a witchcraft singer, a magic maker, a magic weaver, and it has been designed specifically for the witch. And the artwork is sumptuous, it is spectacular, there is a lot to be said, it's spooky, it's moody, it's intense, and there is some power to this gorgeous deck. I absolutely adore this deck. It is right up there with one of my all-time favorite oracle decks. There is a reason why I consistently recommend it, because it has got that little something something that many other decks just don't have. We have a keyword, we have a key phrase, embrace oneness with the universe. Now, the guidebook is where the magic is extended, because you have a little something extra here. So you have mosaic, you have let chance play, its creative role in your life, you have the oracular message, which is beautiful, and then you have the ritual. And this is when you know that the author comes from the craft, because the ritual is so beautifully simple and yet ultra witchy. Whatever ultra witchy means, that's what it means. And so this is definitely one for the spookier soul. This is definitely one for that soulful cartomancer, the one that likes things a little darker, a little more nuanced, a little bit more heavy. There is an absence of this levity, this lightness to the Magic of You Oracle, which is possibly why I feel so drawn to it. It's very shadow in its way, and that's probably why I love it so much. So it's number 5. Here's a deck that has me conflicted. The artwork is not to my liking in the slightest. I'm talking about the White Light Oracle by Alana Fairchild, Enter the Luminous Heart of the Sacred. Now, Alana Fairchild has my vote pretty much all the damn time. She is a master at what she does. Her guidebooks are small novels. I was going to say practically novels, but they are small novels. She goes deep. It's a deep dive. When you invest in an Alana Fairchild deck, you have to be ready to do the work. This is not a deck that will just glide past you. This is a deck that's going to ask you to sit down, grab yourself a soothing drink, pick up a pen, a journal, and put your plans in motion. Set some time aside because we're going to do some healing here. We're going to do a deep dive. And so the artwork is not to my liking in the slightest, and yet I have had some incredible sessions with the White Light Oracle. Like the poignancy of the message, the synchronicity of the message. If I'm going through something and I'm being stubborn about what I'm going through, and I sit down and I pull cards from this deck, all of a sudden, all my shit's there, laid bare, and in the gentlest way possible, Alana and her beautiful White Light Oracle show me the path that I must take to handle my business. And for that, I am infinitely grateful. Again, artwork not to my liking, but at the end of the day, the nature, the message, the nuance, the vibe, the synchronicity, the intensity of the guidebook supersedes the need for incredible or stunning art. I'm usually very big on art. Art will make or break a deck for me, but this one here is an exception to that rule because of the nature of the energy of this deck. It's hard to describe, honestly. It is an experience that one must have for themselves, but I have spoken to others who have had a very similar sort of experience with the White Light Oracle, and we are in agreement. It is personal, it cannot be described. My experience will be different to your experience, but your experience will be equally as intense and equally as enriching. This is a deck for healing. This is a deck for acceptance of the self, for shadow work, for healing, for timing, for future projections, for life pathing, life mapping, for creative sessions. After the first time that I used this deck, after I was finished using it, I started to really look into the nature of sacred sound, you know, the hertz. And I started to play it every morning and every night in my house. And I've got to say, I'm a convert in that way. And so it gave me something to put into practical practice. That's a double practical, I understand, but there are times where oracle cards, they offer this nuance and it's very elusive, whereas this deck provided me with a tool that I could put to immediate use, and for that it has my eternal gratitude. So that is number 5, 6. All right, it was bound to happen. The Kali Oracle by Alana Fairchild as well. As you can see, I'm going through a bit of an Alana Fairchild, you know, romance here. What can I say about the Kali Oracle, aside from the fact that it is perhaps the best oracle deck I have ever found, ever? Maybe it's because I'm in that season of my life, but holy moly. To give you some context, I'm going through some mad health issues, and all to do with my heart and the potential of having heart surgery. On top of that, things are beginning to change around me. Plans are going into motion. I'm about to embark on a great creative endeavor, on a healing journey. I'm doing a sacred healing course through my coven at the moment. And all of that has been, I guess, beautifully supported, is the right way to say it. Made easier by the Kali Oracle. I originally went for the Kali Oracle some time ago, and I saw it, I think it was on a YouTube unboxing of some kind. I'm like, oh, that looks amazing, I have to have it. I bought it, but like always, I let it sort of settle on my shelf for some time, perhaps even close to a year. And then as I began to embark on the sacred healing course through Coven, I felt it call to me. It was a mix and mingling sort of feeling. I was like, well, maybe I should go with the White Light Oracle since I've had so many beautiful healing experiences with that deck. It just seemed right. And yet there was a sort of solid, deeper echo to look at this deck. So I just decided to unbox it. And the first card that I pulled reached into my soul and shook every part of me in a way that I felt a bit sick. I felt a bit like, whoa, that's a bit heavy. That's a bit much. But thereafter, I have sat, I've shuffled, I've pulled a card from this almost every single day. And oh my God, there is deep, deep, deep wisdom in this. There is such incredible energy, information, transformation to be found within this deck. I feel like I am both seen and heard. I feel like I have been presented with a way in which to understand my experiences and to shift my priority. Every day I think my day is going to head in a different direction, and the Kali Oracle provides me with an alternative to that idea, that preconceived notion. And when I find myself following through and heading in the direction that I have been recommended by the Kali Oracle, my days are fuller, they are happier, they are more educational, they are more fulfilling. And it is all because the Kali Oracle has helped me to shift my perspective on how things are meant to be, and the synchronicities that are felt within the deck helps me to put my thoughts in order. Now, full disclosure, I'm fully ADHD, so this is a tool that I use in the morning to help me to ground, center, and gather my thoughts. From this deck, I sit down and I make lists. From this deck, I sit and I take a couple of deep breaths, I activate my parasympathetic nervous system, and I make the necessary adjustments to my day that will enable me to get the most out of my day. And so, absolutely the best deck I have ever worked with, ever. I can say that confidently. I recently had this card, and on the day, actually there might be one tucked into my, this one here, one tucked into my guidebook. On the day that I received my medical news, the one that shook me to my core about my heart, this is the card that I pulled. With luminous grace, she plays her way into our hearts, softening hardness and despair, awakening remembrance of light, of love, of joy. No matter what you have experienced, your heart shall be cleansed and released from ugliness, sorrow, pain. Negative karmic legacies will be cleared away. Our divine sister goddess invites you to recognize her golden restorative beauty shining within your heart. Cultivate that which is worthy of such beauty, for this is your essential nature. Gracefully release all else with dignity. I cried when I got this. I cried like a freaking baby. I cried. This was such an incredible message, such an incredible message from Spirit. And that's probably where I'll end off this this showcase of this particular deck, is that it does deliver that beautiful nudge, that beautiful message from Spirit. And oh my God, I cannot recommend this deck enough. Having said that, it's heavy, it's intense, it's not a deck for the faint of heart. And so be warned of that. And that was at number 7.
And there you have it, my beautiful souls. So I hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you happen to have a recommendation on a deck that you think would fit well within the context of this recommendation video, then please do leave it in the comments below. If you have a personal favorite oracle deck that you find to be incredibly healing and transformative and that you believe would be beneficial to another person, then I would love to learn what that recommendation is. So please do consider leaving that in the comments below. In the meantime, I hope that you have enjoyed this video.
video. Do give it a like if you have. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hit that little notification bell to be notified when I post new videos, and I will see you next week with another video. Mwah! Take care!